Hey there, I am Pranav, the instructor of this course. I am the founder of Thinking How, an animation production company. Here in Thinking How, we create animated videos for brands. We have also produced more than 50 animated educational videos over YouTube. Here in this course, you will learn some very important animations. And after this course, you will be able to create your own animations very easily. In this lecture, I will teach you how to do scaling in After Effects and how to animate using scaling technique. So first, you must import and drag your file into this composition section like that. Now make sure you select this, and you can see it is right over there in the timeline as coin.png file. It's a PNG file. So how to access scaling? You can either press S on the keyboard, or you can select this and then this and click on the scaling. Now here you can see by default the value is 100 and 100. So all the default values rather than position and anchor point are 100, except rotation because it's a 0 right now. Now in order to increase the size, we have to drag this value towards right by selecting left mouse button and dragging this to the right hand side. And to decrease the size, similarly we have to do opposite. We have to drag to the left, and that's, you can see that the size is gradually decreasing. You can either do by selecting this and putting the desired value, like I am selecting 150. And one more thing I will tell you, that if this is selected, it can increase both width and height. And if I unselect this, only one property will change. So you can see that only one thing is changing now. That scaling works. So I will select this. First I will put this 0, so it's invisible, but now I will put it like 100. Now I will tell you how to animate using scaling. First, make sure this is at the 0 frame or 0 seconds. And then to start animation, click on this timer. Now this timer will help to create a keyframe. Make sure this will blink, and you can see that it creates a keyframe at 0 seconds. Now the value is 100 at 0 seconds. Now we will put at 1 second, we will increase the value around, dragging towards 130. Yeah, 130 will do. So now you can see at 0 frame the value is 100, and now at 1 second the value is 130. So now you can play this by using spacebar. Now you can see this will slightly increasing. Now in order to decrease, we can go to 2 seconds and reduce the size by selecting left mouse button and decreasing, moving towards left side, and you can see it will decrease. Let's put it till 80. So now we are at 80, and as you can see, by selecting this, whatever I can do with this timeline, it will create a keyframe, and the keyframe is the value according to the respect with time, value with time. This is the keyframe. Now we will play that. It will increase and then decrease. So in order to smooth this, we can select by left clicking and selecting all keyframes, and we can right click, go to key assistant and ease ease. Now you can see it will create little smooth animation, as you can see that. So that's how you animate in scaling. In this lecture, we will learn about moving an object with help of position. Let's start. First, we will select our object and put it right over there to composition section. As you can see, it's a nice and little earth. This quarter now. Okay. So make sure it is selected, and you can access position property by clicking P, or you can click this and this in order to access position right over there. Everything will become under transform section, so you can always remember that. Now as you can see, it is in the middle of this section, and the property is 960 and 540 along with the respective axis. So in order to make it less confusing, I will select P and only gain this. Now it only bring me position and its values, so it is less difficult. Now let's put it right over there, and you can see the value changes, but it is not animated till I can select this. So let's animate and change the position. So select this. Before selecting, always remember you are at 0 frame, so put it there, select this, and I will put it right over the 3 seconds, and I will be dragging this by selecting left click and moving this and changing the value. You can either type the value, so it's good right there. As you can see, it creates a keyframe at 3 seconds also. So you must always remember the rule. Whenever you change the value, it creates a keyframe. It's that simple. So you can see that it is animated and the position is changing. Now in order to gain back to it, you can either copy this keyframe by using Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. So it copies this keyframe. You have to select this particular keyframe to copy and paste that. You can also do this if you don't want to copy. You can also change this value till the desired. Yes, we are almost there. Yes. So there are many ways to animate. Now if we play this, you can see it will goes there and regain to its position. So that's positioning works. And let's create a wavy. Now I will go to the middle of this start and 3 seconds, 1 and 3 seconds, 0 and 3. I will change the y-axis. So I'm not touching the x-axis. I must remember that it will create a wave like. I'm changing this y-axis. Now at the 3 and 5 second, I will move it upward. I know it's little awkward, but you can either do this. Now play with that. You can either, if you want to move this, that's deselect all and it will remove all the animations. And if you want some easy way to deal with positioning, you can select this and use your mouse by pressing shift. If you want to go straight, now we are at first frame, so it won't animate, so we will change the time. Now pressing shift using left click and move towards this. You must press shift after clicking this. Before, if you put, nothing happens. Now first select this left click and then use shift. It will create a straight line. So that's an easy way. I always use mouse unless it's too complicated. And if we put there also, you can do this. If you don't put, you can, it will either go to X and Y. In this lecture, we will learn about rotation. So first, select our prop and drag it to composition section. As you can see, it's a little coin. Now, in order to access rotation, you can either press R or click this and click on the transform and you can access rotation. But to make it more easy, I will press R so I can get the rotation. Right now it's 0. It's that simple. If you drag it to left, it will create a negative rotation, and it will put right, it will create a positive rotation. So let's animate using rotation. First, make sure it is at the 0 frame and select this, make sure it is on and move till 3 seconds. At the beginning it is of -2, so it will not cause any hurt, but still for the beginners I will put this off and reanimate this. First put it at 0. Okay, so select this and drag till 3 seconds and I will rotate till 30 degrees, positive 30 degrees. You must remember this sign convention here. Now let's play. As you can see, it is slightly moving towards 30 degree. Now if increase the value till 90 degrees. Now after 30 degree it will continually rotate till 90 degrees. So let's play. And as you can see, at the start it is very slow and after that it is slightly improving. So that's very good. You can also drag the keyframe and put it at the shorter duration, as you can see here, like this. You can either select this keyframe and drag till the desired location. Let's put it all in the 1 second, and as you can see, in 1 second it rotates to 90 degrees. Let's try out negative rotation. So I will drag towards left, like whatever the value is, 90. Let's put 90 degrees. So if I play this, it will automatically, after that it will switch to negative 90 degrees. So that's how we deal with rotations. And one more thing, let's deselect all and go to that, and after that select this. And what is the role of this? Now this is the complete revolution. First put the 0, and if I select it at 0, now this will create a 0 keyframe. The value is 0 right now, and let's go to 2 seconds and change the value to one rotation, one complete rotation. Now this will rotate one complete rotation. As I mentioned, this is the complete rotation values. This is positive and this is negative. You already know that what is positive and what is negative in this. So if I have created this at 23, go to 2 and let's play this. Insane amount of rotation here. So you can do this and use rotation to animate these props. You can also try that. So that's how we use rotation and animate objects. In this lecture, we will learn about transparency or opacity. So first, let's drag our object and put it to composition section. As you can see, this is a nice and lit earth. Now, in order to access transparency or opacity, you can press T. It's a shortcut of transparency and opacity. T. As you can see, after pressing T, it opens as an opacity. By default, the value is always 100. And it's a maximum value. One key point to be noted, that opacity, values of opacity lies between 0 and 100 only. So you can't go far away from 100. So to reduce, my rule is to left click and drag to the left. As you can see, gradually it is becoming invisible, and if you move towards right, it's increasing opacity. Now, in order to animate, let's put it to the 0. Make sure it is at 0 frame, and now select this and go to the 1 seconds and increase this to 100. That's when you can either type this value or change this by help of mouse. So let's play this. As you can see, it is gradually getting visible. And let's make it invisible again. First invisible, then visible, and again invisible. Let's play this. As you can see, now you are well aware about opacity. Let's smooth this. Right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease, and let's play this. Now it's nice and smooth. In order to create a blinking effect, you have to go to shorter duration. Make it far more and select all. Control plus C, move towards here, and Control plus V, and again select all. Control plus C, move slightly there and copy them. Now when you play this, you can see this. This is a blinking effect. This is all a game of keyframes. The more closer you put them, the more faster animation look like. The more far you put them, it will look like more slow and nice and slow. As you can, I'm at the 1 second, so it is too fast now. Now as you can see, this is, and you can see how detailed this is. So in animation, you have to take a dive between keyframes and create these animations. It's like a magic for the world. How we did, they don't know, but we know. We will play with keyframes. So you must remember that far the keyframes are, the animation will be slow. So it is all about this. In this section, I will tell you about the workspace of After Effects and how to import an asset. So first, we will start with new composition. Let's click. As you can see, this is a resolution. You can change the resolution. So there are list of some resolutions. Mostly we prefer the HDTV 1080. This is the frame rate. You can choose 29, 30 and whatever you want, but always choose 30. This is the duration of your project. Right now it is 15 seconds, so you can see 15.05. This is the background color. You can change the background color as you want, but let's put it to white. So this is the resolution, frame rate and the time. Now let's OK this. So this is our composition section where animation is done. This is the project panel where you can import your assets. To import, you have to double click and import any asset. The requirement is EPS file, Illustrator file or PNG file to animate. So let's add this, import, and you can see this is at the project panel. Now to import this to the composition section, you have to left click, select this and drag. As you can see, when you drag this, it is here. So this is the timeline section where you can see the different layers to animate, and this is the timestamps at 0. You can zoom this in order if you want to work on frames like 0 to 15 frames. So you can either increase or decrease this. This is the motion blur section. This is for the camera. This is to lock this, and if you don't want to make it visible, then close this. So, and right over there we have characters section, effects and presets, audio, preview and paragraph. And over there we have selection tool, hand tool, zoom tool, rotation tool, rectangle. In order to select a shape, let's create a rectangle here. As you can see, we have mistakenly created a mask. So let's delete this, unselect everything. In order to create a shape, unselect everything, and then let's create this. Now if you want to change the shape or create a new shape, you can just select this and wait for a while, and you can select these different shapes like star, again I mark this. Okay, so this comes under the same, but let's delete this and unselect everything. So if you want to create new, then you have to unselect everything, and you can drag this using selection tool. So this is the anchor tool, anchor point tool. As you can see here, it is anchor point of this star. You can change this by selecting this and moving at the desired location. Let's put it to the center. Okay. This is the pen tool where you can create shapes. So this is pen tool, and here we have brush tool, clone stamp tool, eraser tool, roto brush tool, and puppet pin tool. Now these are used to create puppet animations or to creating character animations or anything you want to pin. So we have several pin tool: position, starch, bend, advance, and puppet overlap. Now in order to export, you have to go to file, you can save here, and export, you can export here. To export you need Adobe Media Encoder Q. It is a software by Adobe. You can download it for free trial version. So this is used to export the files. As you can see, our file is ready. Here you can select the output. I have selected high quality 1080p. Now this is ready. Then you have to play this and it will start rendering your file. And in order to gain your file, you have to click this to gain your file. Let's stop this right now. So this is all about overview of After Effects workspace. And if you lost anywhere, you can just select default to gain back this position. In this section, we are going to animate a rocket. So let's start. First, we will drag and drop our backgrounds. So this one is nice and fit. Okay. As this is clouds. Originally this is white, so it doesn't seem too good with that. So I have used this to pick a screen color, and that's how I colored this background and change the color. Now let's drag our Mars. We have two planets, Earth and Mars today. In order to create a depth, I will be scaling down Mars slightly little. Okay, now it's good. Let's put it right there. Okay. Now let's drag our Earth. Let's scale it down. Okay, this seems good. We are just using position and animating a rocket today. So let's close this and bring our rocket. This is too big, so we'll scale it down, as we all know how to scale. Now let's zoom in. So this is our required rocket. Let's make it 6. Slide. No. Okay, that's good. Now we will drag this flame. Of course, we need a flame if we are animating a rocket. Now here the role of anchor point comes. When we need to animate this flame, we are not doing this. We will be animating this flame with help of scaling. But as you can see, the anchor point is in the middle section, and we don't want this type of animation. So we use this to change the anchor point, and we'll place it here. Now as you can see, this will create a slightly flamish. Now this look more proper instead of this one. So we will use this to change the anchor point and we'll put this there. Now we will scale it down, move shorter according to that. Let's arrange this, zoom using hand tool, drag, then okay, we need to slightly zoom more. We need to put the frame at 8. Now this is good, so 8 will be our maximum value. Now one more thing, flame will be behind the rocket, so if anything goes wrong it will cover up. Now we'll use scale. Let's reduce to 5, 6. We will play between 6 and 8. So I will reverting this to original 8. Now let's animate the flame. And I will tell you how to do this. First, make sure we are at 0 frame. Now at the half of 1 second, we will change this value to 6, and again at 1 second we will change this value to 8. Now as you can see, at 0 seconds the value is 8, and around 0.40 the value is 6, and again it's 8. So you can understand that what I am going to do this, why I am doing this. Now I am going to copy this and using easy ease by selecting all the frames and easy ease. So now I'm going to add a property named as loop out. So I have to select the alt and click this timer. Now this will comes up. Now I have to type a code which I mentioned here, loop out. Here it's loop out. Now I will enter and click here. Now it will automatically loop out this 3 frames or whatever I can put here to the entire duration of the video or the timeline. So that's how it will loop out the whole section of the keyframes. So we are done with the frames. Now we have to link the flame with rocket. It is the most important task, and we have done with linking. Now let's drag this here. Let's add little bit of rotation to the earth. Okay, I am adding one keyframe at 0 and the another one. I want to rotate earth around 180 degree because it needed to be slow, not that fast. And this is good, and I'm going to animate Mars 2 by adding rotation. Make sure I'm at 0 seconds. Put a keyframe here, and I'm going to animate Mars at less value of, I will put it 90 degrees only. Let's play. Now as you can see, it is slower than this, and which is quite justified. As now let's use the position and travel this rocket from Earth to Mars. So now put rotation here, and we need the rocket to place like there. We are not animating any rotation right now. As you can see, I have not selected this, so I'm just changing the rotation, not animating with rotation. So this is there. Now we'll be using scaling of the rocket. Now let's make sure to select this, and we are at 0 frames, and let's go to the end of this section and scale it till 4 is good. Okay, now we are done with scaling. Let's add position to this rocket. So let's animate position. Now make sure we are at 0 frames. Add a keyframe here, and let's go to the end of this and drag this rocket till the Mars. Now what I want you to do this, we are going to add a curve, so it will look better now. Okay, now that's good. So we have added a curve, and you can see it is not looking that good. So we will add a rotation. Now we will animate with rotation. So let's select make sure we are at 0. Select this time here and move it. Now as you can see, this is quite good. Now we have to slightly move this. Now we have to again move. This seems good and enough for the mass. Let's make it to distance. As you can see, flames are working properly, and that's how we animate rocket. In this session, we are animating a map on a mobile phone using trim paths. So let's start. Let's drag our object and scale it down. Let's make it 11. So now it's good. Now we have to create a path from here to there at this location. So we will be doing this with help of trim paths. So let's start with this. Make sure everything is unselected. You have to select this pen tool, click this, and you also have to check that, click here at the fill and make sure nothing is selected here, and at the stroke it is selected as a solid color, and this is the width of the stroke we are creating. Let's zoom in and create our path. So this is our initial point, so we are starting from this. Click here and here and here. So we are creating just a path, and this is our final position. So we have created a path. Let's change the color to bright red. Now it's good. So this is our path. Now we are animating this line. So it will look like a navigation map. Let's start. We will animating this by trim paths. So first, this is the line. Let's rename this as line. So now we are adding trim path. So first we have to click this to open properties. Now we have to click here to add here. Again you can see add, and here trim paths. So here we have our trim path. Now let's close this. Again we have to access the trim path. So if you click here, you can see this. Here's trim path we have created. So let's click here to access its property, and we have to animate this. So let's start with 0 seconds. And if you want to create an animation like starting from here and ending to this point, so we have to make sure that the end value is at 0% without selecting any keyframe. The end value is at 100%. So as you can see, if I am decreasing this, everything is changing with respect to this value. So let's put it at the 0. Now make sure we are at 0 frames and 0 seconds. So we will click here at the start time, selecting this, make sure we add a keyframe here, and go to the desired value of the time as you want, so that, and drag the value to 100%. Now as you can see, if I play this, the value is start 0. At 0 seconds the value is 0. As we are gradually moving towards 4 seconds, the value is changing here. You can see here the value is changing, and this line is animated. By the 4 seconds we are at here, the final position. So you can add a keyframe assistant by adding easy ease, so it will look more better. Now let's close this and add a location. Let's scale it down, zoom this using hand tool, drag here, so it will look more better now. So this is our destination. So at the destination I'm making a pointer over here. Let's scale it down, it's too big right now. We also have to change the anchor point. Location is selected, selecting this and changing the anchor point at this here, so it will originate from this point. Now let's drag this here. Now we are animating this. So at the 4 seconds, it is here now. So when the 4 seconds is completed, I want to make this originate and pop up. So when we are at the 4 seconds, remember the value 15. So I want to put the value 0. So now at the 4 seconds, open this time wrap and add a keyframe at 4 seconds, and slightly after 4 seconds put the value greater than 15, because 15 is our original value. Original value means assumed. So 18, let's create it 18, and then 50. So it will create like a pop-up, as you can see. And now we are adding a keyframe velocity. You can also add a keyframe assistant, but here in this case I want to add a keyframe velocity. So how you can access? Select all frames by this and right click, click on keyframe velocity and change the value to 75%. Influence 75% and here 75%, and then play this. As you can see, it will now look better now. So it is optional and it's up to you that you can choose keyframe assistant and easy ease. I mostly prefer using keyframe velocity. As you can see the difference, it will look more better. So let's check the whole animation we have done. So let's make it to 0, and so this is our animation of the map. So that's how we animate using trim paths. So in this section, we are going to animate a conversation between two in a mobile chat. So let's start. First, we drag our chat interface. Let's scale it down. So it is scaled now. Seems good. Let's make it slightly bigger. Control plus to zoom in, or you can scroll to zoom. Now let's add the chats. So this is the message one. Let's scaling down by selecting the layer and pressing S to open scaling. I'm scaling like this, seems good. Changing the position by shift and arrow keys. So we have put the first chat, and let's drag the message number 2 by another sender. Let's scale it down. This seems good. So I'm changing the position by using arrow keys or shift plus arrow keys. Will do more faster, but arrow keys will be good for minor details. Okay, we're done with 2. Let's drag the third one. Let's scale it down. Seems good. No, it's big now. Let's scale it till 29. Okay, that's fine. So let's drag the fourth chat, fourth message from the second sender. Okay, we've added all the fourth. So let's close this. So as you can see, we have chat interface, message 1, message 2, message 3, message 4. Let's zoom in. So this is our interface of phone. This is sender 1 and this is sender 2 and receiver 2. So we are going to animate this conversation. So let's start by animating this first. So make sure we are at 0 frames. First we have to change the anchor point, and we will select this to change the anchor point. As you can see, it is now in the middle. We will shift it till here, or you can go to this. Like if I am scaling this, so it will originate from here. This is the purpose of changing the anchor point. So it is 28. So let's first put the value 0. Now add scale. So the first frame at 0 seconds is the value 0 of this chat. It is invisible right now. That scale to 28 is the original value of the chat, so we are scaling little bit like 30, and let's drag this frame to below the 1 seconds, and let's change the value to 28. Yes. The reason why I'm doing this is, first it is at 0, then it is slightly bigger, and then smaller, so it will create like a bounce effect. As you can see, let's easy in the ease. So after easing, it will look more good. As you can see, this is the first chat pop-up at 1 second. So let's add a marker so we can know that when the first chat is pop-up. Now we are animating the second one, so again put the anchor point at right over there. So let's close the first one, so it is not so complicated. Now after 1 second we will change and put the S of scaling. Its value is 33, so 33 is our original value. Now let's reduce this slightly. Let's do this 30. 30 is the original value of this, so it will be helpful when I'm increasing the value, so it won't come out of this interface window. So let's add a scale. No, first we put 0. You check this, put the value 0, and after, let's wait for the 1 second, then we are animating another one. So at 2 seconds, slightly after 2 seconds, add the value 33. So it's a slightly bigger value, 34. Okay, it will do. And you add the original value 30. Original value is assumed value by us. So let's play this again. This is pop-up. Let's ease. Right click, keyframe assistant, ease. As you can see this. So we are done with 2. Now let's also animate these 2. Then the whole animation is done. Let's add a marker so we can know when the second chat is pop up. Wait for the 1 second. So we will animate at 4 seconds. So let's close this. Now it's turn for message number 3. Again, rule number 1, change the anchor point. So the origination is from there. And this is good. Now select this, open scaling, make sure we are at 4 seconds. So the original value is 29. Okay, so put the value 0 right now. By remembering the original value, select the scaling, this is on, go to slightly less than 5 seconds and add 29 greater than 29. Let's add 31, and then at the 5 seconds make it 29. So now it is originated from 0 till 31 and then 29. So this is pop-up effect. So let's add a ease by right clicking and then ease. So add a marker to 5 seconds. Now let's go to 6 seconds by giving 1 second delay. Go to 6 seconds and then first close this. Now it's time for message number 4 to get animated. So let's change the anchor point, make it here. Now on the scaling, so the value is 32. I think it's slightly bigger, so 28 will be the value. So remember the value is 28 or 29. Okay, no problem with that. So first put the value 0 and then on this timer to add a keyframe here, and go to slightly less than 7 seconds and add a value greater than 29. 31 is good. Now let's add the value, original value, which is 29. Again, original value is assumed by us, so you can assume any value which suits you need. So again, this is, let's make it shorter now, and adding a keyframe assistant. By right clicking this, go to keyframe assistant and easy ease. It will smooth the animation. So we have animated all the 4. Now it's time to play this and check. So first I'm checking this 4 chats. So let's play this. First it will pop up. Again this one, and this, and this. So that's how you animate a conversation on a mobile window interface. Let's zoom this to know better. Again, zoom below. So that's how we animate a chat box. In this session, we are animating a coin. So first drag this coin here at the composition section and press S by selecting this. Scaling will come up, and let's scale it down till 30. Placing it in the center. Now we are animating it like a flip animation. So we have to first uncheck this, and if I uncheck this, if I change the one value, the other value is not affected. As you can see right now, if I am changing the one value, it will impact the both. But if I uncheck this and I will change the value, only one value will be changed. So this is the work of this. So first change it till 30 and make sure this is unchecked, and we are adding a keyframe by selecting this positive 30, and after 1 second we are adding another negative 30. You can either type this or drag to the left. So this is negative 30, again positive 30. So if you are creating a flip animation, you have to follow a sequence of positive, negative, positive and negative. So like we are doing now, positive 30 and negative 30 and again positive 30. Positive 30. Now it's up to you. You can copy this frame to the entire section or loop out by clicking this, selecting the alt and clicking the time and typing here loop out. So this is the flip animation. positive 30, and here again positive 30. If you don't want to use loop out, or you want to just flip this coin to the particular section, then you have to again, like if I want this to only 5 seconds, so we have to copy this. It is now at the positive 30, and then I have to go to this and like negative 30 and again positive 30. So either you can do manually or by loop out or copying these keyframes. So that's how it works. So in this lecture, we are going to animate a car. Let's start. First, we must put our background to the comp section. Let's adjust this. I will make it slightly bigger so I can move when the car will move. So this is good. Let's adjust to third. Now we will drag our car. This is our car, and we will drag our wheels. Now let's animate our car. As you can see, in the timeline section, we have layers of wheel, sports car, and background. So make sure background is below. So let's zoom in by Ctrl plus and use hand tool. Now we'll check and make sure that our anchor point is in the center of the tires. In this case, it is at the center. If it is not in the center, like this, you can adjust this and put it to the center. So it is in the center, but as you can see, it's too big, so we must scale it down. So I'm scaling down. Let's put it right there. Still it's big. Okay, let's zoom in by Ctrl plus using hand tool. Okay, this seems slightly, we need slightly smaller. 39 will do. Now it's good. So let's select the wheel. Now it's time to animate this. So make sure we are at 0 frame. So how to animate a wheel? In this case, we are going to use rotation. As we performed previously, we select wheels and we put R. As you can see, rotation come out. Now we must add a keyframe, and as long as our timeline is, we will animate according to that. So this video is 15 seconds longer, so I am going to give it, let's say 5 rotations, 5 complete rotations till 15 seconds. Now let's put it to third half. Now if we can play, it seems too slow, but it is animated and it's rotating like a tire. Okay, let's see. Let's change the value to, you can edit the value by selecting the keyframe and changing the value. Let's put it around 8. Now after changing the value to 8, let's see. Now it's slightly faster. Let's change it till 10. Now it seems better. Okay, so we have our first wheel animated. Now what we will do, we will copy the wheel and make a duplicate by using Ctrl plus D. Now as we have created a duplicate, you can see, using Ctrl plus D. Now we will shift this tire to rear tires section. Let's zoom in, improve the quality. Little bit adjustment there. Now it's good. Now as you can see, both tires are animated, but we need to make sure the car is moving along with the tires. So we must link the tires with car, because if you can't do this, when I move this car, the tires remain at the same position, and we don't want this to be happen. So we must link both the tires with the car. Now let's animate the car with position. Now we will use P to open the position section. Now select and make sure this is on, and let's move it till 15. Now as we can see, let's move it till there. So here we must add this easy ease, so it seems like a little bit of acceleration at the start. Now let's play this. Here's our car is moving. As you can see, the car is moving. You can also change the speed according to the time frame, but this is the basics of animating a car. First you animate the wheel by using rotation, then you link your tires with your car, and then you can change the position of the car. Let's complete this thing. Make it to the middle. Now I'm going to animate the background too. So let's close this and put P as a position here. Make sure I am at 0 seconds. Make sure it is on. Let's mark up a keyframe here, and at the end of this timeline I'm going to change the background and increase the position on the x-axis. Now revert back and play. As you can see, the background is changing according to the car. That's how we animate. Now if you add position to the background, it will help to look animation more creative. It will look more realistic if your background is animated too. So now here's how you can animate your car. Remember the basics. First, add rotation to your wheels. Make sure the anchor point is in the center, else it will screw out the rotation. So make sure anchor point is in center. Add rotation to your wheels, link your wheels to the body of the car, and then animate with position, and then add animation to your background, and then complete the scene. So here's the scene. So this is the animation of car. Now in order to make it fast, you can change the rotation value. Like if I'm changing the rotation value here, if I want to make it too fast, then as you can see, I will select the rotation. Now it's complicated little bit of, but if you focus on this, you can see the wheels are now more faster than before. It is not visible because there are some limitation of human eye with frames. It is too fast right now. So that's how you animate a car. In this session we are going to animate a helicopter. Let's start. First, drag the body of the helicopter. Let's scale it down. Seems good. Now let's drag the fan. Now this is good. Place it somewhere. Here. We'll adjust it later. Now drag the rotor here. So let's layer this. The rotor is behind the helicopter. Now let's zoom and position it here. And let's check the anchor point. As you can see, it is slightly outside. We have to make it in the center. So now it is in the center. So let's drag this here. Now it's time to animate the helicopter. So first we will animate the fan. Make sure we are at 0 frames. Select the rotation. Complete this. Put it 1 complete rotation. It seems too slow now. Okay, this is good. This is good. So now we are adding easy ease. Only in this case. So, and we have to add a loop out. So we will press the Alt and click this and type the code loop out and enter. Now click here. Now this will animate the whole section with these 2 keyframes, as you can see. So now it's time to animate the rotors. We will animate this using scale. So first we have to remove this. So click this. I hope you understand what I'm going to do here. So let's make it default to 100 and let's add a keyframe at 0, and we need it too fast, so we will put -100. We will put -100 here. Let's slide it till -100. Now it seems good. As we will play, you can see this. It seems like moving. Now we will copy this keyframe and paste it here, and we will completely loop out this section by pressing Alt and clicking this and typing here loop out, pressing enter and clicking here. So now our rotor is animated. We can adjust the speed by making it more closer. Now it seems more faster than before. Now it's time to link all the assets to the helicopter's body. Let's link the fan first and then rotor. Okay, now we will scale down the whole helicopter and create a moving animation. So we will add positions and P. So we are not putting it 0 because we want to give some time before flying, and then we'll add little here and here. Now we will land this easily. That's now we will access the rotation. First I will mark this selection so I know when I have to. You can mark this by using this. Now I will access the rotation and I will slightly rotate helicopter when it is taking off, like this. When we will play this, now as you can see, now we will level up, and as you can see, now this is the animated helicopters. And during the landing phase, let's copy this frame here by Ctrl C and V, and let's rotate this to like that, and then change this to 0 so it will look more natural. Let's by the end put 0. So as you can see, while at the landing, it is more natural now. Let's select all frames and easy ease them. Now you can see. So this is the helicopter animation. In this section, we are animating an airplane. So let's start. First, We will drag our airplane to the composition section. As you can see, it's too big, so let's scale it down. Okay, that's good. I'm adding a background, so I'm using rectangle tool. So let's put our background to back. Let's add something dark so we can easily understand what I'm doing with that. So we can lock it by clicking here. Now that's good. So this is our airplane. Now we have to drag the engines. So we are animating the engines using rotation. So this will rotate, and this we will place this above this motor, so it will look like this as I'm slowly moving this. So that's how we animate the engine. So first let's link this motor to the outer frame, motor's frame. So we have linked this. Now let's animate this motor. Make sure we are at 0 frames. Start this, and by the end of the clip, let's put around 6 rotations. Let's play this. As you can see, it is rotating right now, and the speed is good. So this is all required now. As we have linked this, so we can scale this motor frame, and we don't need to scale this. So now we will scale it down. Let's zoom in and place the motors. We have to scale. Let's arrange this using keyboards by pressing shift or arrow keys. You can also use separate arrow keys without using shift, but it will be very slow. So I'm using shift. Okay, this is good. Now I will duplicate this both and place it here. The reason why I animated first and after that I am duplicating is that I will duplicate this and along with their respective animations too. So I don't have to create separate animations for them. It will create a similar duplicate along with the animations. So let's put this above. Let's rename this motor frame 2 and motor PNG 2, so we can differentiate which one is 1 and 2. Now let's play. So this is our basic engine animation. Now we will work on landing gears. So first add the middle tire. This is the big one. Let's scale it down and place it here, somewhere here. Let's scale again. Let's zoom in. Okay, this is good. Now we have to create a scaling animation by changing the anchor point. So let's change the anchor point here. I want this tire to originate from that point, so that's why I've changed this to here. Change the anchor point here. So let's know the 32 is the original value. Another trick to perform scaling is that I will put the value at 2 seconds or the desired time which you choose. So I will select the scaling and place a keyframe of value 32 here, and I will come to the 0 seconds and change the value to 0. So this will originate like this. Before that we are doing like that. First we are putting this to 0 and then selecting the time wrap and moving till here and changing the value till the desired value of 32 in this case. Let's add a keyframe velocity here by right clicking, keyframe velocity, changing the value to 75%. Like this. So this is the landing gear. Now what I have to do is place this behind the airplane like that, and we have to position this again. Okay, now it's good. It's too big, but still it is okay for that tutorial. Yes, as you can see, first it rises. That's how it rises. And we have to create 2 landing gears for the side tires. So these are the small ones. Let's scale it down. Okay, this is good. We have to place it around here, and we have to change the position of this engines slightly there, and same for this case. 1 2 3 4. Okay, that will be good. Okay, now I'm positioning this here. Now let's work with the small tire by changing the anchor point. Now let's perform scaling. So this desired value is 29, so I'm selecting this at 2 seconds and changing the value initially at 0. This is the same effect. Now I am selecting both keyframes and adding a keyframe velocity. Let's add 75. Now if I'm playing this like this, this will be open like this. Okay. That's good. Now let's duplicate this and put it right there. Okay. Now let's place behind the airplane. Now we have to link these two with airplane body. So while I'm moving this airplane position, they both come along with the airplane. Motor frame 2 is not linked. And again in this case I will link this body to airplane. In this case we are linking motor frame, not motor, because motor is linked with motor frame and airplane. Now same for this one, linking motor frame with airplane. Now let's play this. As you can see, this is the duration of landing. Now let's draw back these and create a airplane animation in the sky. So these landing gear are at 4 seconds. Now we are removing the landing gears by clicking scaling. Let's copy this value by Ctrl plus C and Ctrl plus V at the 4 seconds. The reason I'm copying this, like if I change the value here, so it will gradually changing and then go to the 0, like this. Like if I'm changing the value here, now as you can see, it will lose the reality of the engines like that. I don't want this, so let's copy this frame. So from there, from 2 seconds to 4 seconds, the value remains same, and this landing gear is still same size. Now I want the landing gear to reduced to 0. So that's how, like this. Now let's mark the position, so I know when I have to change the small tires. Let's scale. Let's copy the last frame to there, Ctrl plus C, Ctrl plus V. Now change the value to 0. Again, let's make it here and change the value for, first copy this, Ctrl plus C, Ctrl plus V, so that the value remains same between these keyframes. Now I want to change the value for this small tire at 0, like this. We have to add it a little bit here so it can match with that. Now okay, this is good. So as you can see, landing gear rises and gone. To change it slightly so it can match with that, let's match this. Okay, so we have to match this. With these frames. So let's play this. Okay, at the takeoff, landing gear up. Now let's animate the airplane position. Now we are animated the landing gears, and now it's time to animate the plane. So while animating, we are changing the anchor point so it will look more realistic, like that, when gliding a plane. So after 4 seconds, let's select the rotation, and by the duration of 2 to 3 seconds, slightly change the value to positive 6 degrees, and again as you want, it's up to you, -4, like positive side or negative side, with respective times. You can also add scaling to complete plane to show the depth, but right now in this case I'm not doing this. Okay, so let's ease these frames. Don't use keyframe velocity God, it will not look better in this case. Like this. That's how we animate a airplane. In this section, we are going to create a rainfall effect in After Effects. So let's start. First, we will drag this solid and create a background using rectangle tool. So let's rename this background. Now I'm changing the color to the black so the rain is visible. Now you have to search in effects and presets rainfall as CC rainfall. Now you have to drag this to the background layer and let's play this. As you can see, it creates a rainfall effect. Now you can drag this scene over your animated scene also to create an animation of rainfall. You can also adjust the size of drops by increasing or decreasing, or you can also reduce the intensity of drops. Now let's animate the drops by first creating 0. Let's create a timestamp. Let's deal with this from there, not create a confusion. So first make sure we add a frame at 0 seconds. Now after 6 seconds let's increase the duration of drops. Okay, this one is good. Now let's play this. As you can see, slightly rain is being too fast. Let's drag this to look more realistic. So you can choose any background and you can select the rainfall effect to any background you have. But also make sure that when you are creating an animation, you should select to this your background, not to your props like car or any character you are animating. So make sure to add this effect to the background, like sky, or if you are in jungle, so you can also select the background theme of jungle, or you can also place it over the jungle. You can also change the transparency. Now let's create the, you can also increase or decrease the speed of the rain. Like as I reduce the speed, let's add a keyframe here at 1660 and let's increase the rain to fast. So let's play this. As you can see, at the start it is very slow, and then it is gradually increasing the speed. It's too much right now, it's unrealistic, but for the sake of animation, let's do this. You can also adjust the wind. Let's first, it is at 0, so it will fall directly. Let's change the wind. Oh, it's too much now. Okay, let's play this. Whatever we are doing, let's play. As you can see, the wind is shifting the rain towards this side. So you can also change the color of the rain from here. This is the opacity. make sure you deal with only 25%. So that's how you create a rainfall effect in After Effects. Let's create a snowfall effect in After Effects. So first we will create a rectangle for the background. Let's come back to project section. Okay, now let's rename to background. So this is our background. Now we will search in the effects and presets section snowfall. So in the simulation section you can also find CC snowfall effect, and let's drag this effect to the background section. Now as you can see, by default this is the snowfall. You can increase the flakes, you can increase the size, so let's decrease the flakes amount. So that's how you create snowfall effect in After Effects. You can also provide wind. And the spread is used to spread the particles of the flakes. As you can see, it is looking more realistic now. Let's animate this by flake amount. So we will go to this section and click on the effects, CC snowfall effect, to see our keyframe. First let's delete this. Now let's put the flake value to 0, select the time wrap and go to the 12 seconds, and okay, this is good. We're not adding too much. Okay, this is good. Now let's play this. As you can see, you can also reduce the speed here by scrolling down. This is the speed. Let's reduce the speed. Okay, as you can see, it is more slower now. So as you can see, we can also adjust the speed according to the animation. Let's put this frame here. Now let's increase the speed. Let's play this. As you can see, the speed is increasing gradually due to adding keyframes of different values. Here it is 450 at around 8 seconds, and at 0 seconds it is 123. So it is increasing. Again, you can also add this snowfall effect to your any background you are animating. It is not mandatory that you have to create a solid. You can put this over the background to create a snowfall effect. In this session, we are creating a starburst effect in After Effects. So let's start. First, let's create a background. I will prefer the dark one with black, and let's rename this to black background. Now let's lock it. Now let's create another background with change in color. You can choose white or some light colors. Now for beginners, let's search starburst. Starburst. As you can see, CC starburst will pop up. Now you have to select this shape layer you have created over the background layer, and you have to drag this starburst effect and place it here. Now let's change the color. Let's use the blue. Okay, whatever. So let's put in white right now. So here you can see this will create a starburst effect. Now to make it look more better, we will first increase the grid spacing, and let's make it scatter to 150 and decrease the size. Okay, that's good. Now let's reduce the speed. Now speed, if you put a positive speed, it will be moved towards you, and if you put a negative speed, it will moves away from you. Like if I'm choosing this minus, so it is moving away, and as if you choose positive, then it is moving towards you. So this is a kind of space effect you can try, and it's very simple to do. If you increase the size, then it will increase the speed, as you can see. So that's how you create a starburst effect in After Effects. Let's unlock this and change this to dark purple. So this is created by us in the rocket animation video. So this is the background we have created with starburst effect. You can also try this. It is very simple, and we don't require any keyframes. Now, as you can see, we have lost our project menu. So in order to gain back, you can click this and go to project menu. Now if you want to again access to effects and control, then click this. You can either go there, and if you don't want to select this, then you can also access the properties from here by clicking this, and by clicking effects, CC starburst. Now you have access to the same properties shown over above, and now it is on the below. So this is the starburst effect in After Effects.